Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to enter your rich girl era. And I truly feel like once you hit your 20s, like it's time to lock in terms of finances, because when you're a little bit younger, whatever, your parents have got your back, but if you don't start having good financial habits in your young adult years, that will literally carry over years and years and years down the line into adulthood. Stay tuned in this video if you want to learn how to enter your rich girl era, start taking your finances seriously, start saving, investing, all the good things, because that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. If you've never seen me before, my name's Lily, and on this channel I focus on all things self-improvement, wellness, manifestation, mindset. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out some of my other videos and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Down to the basics, the very first thing you have to do when you want to enter your rich girl era is to start budgeting. Point blank period. I was such a loser myself because I was like, budgeting is lame, budgeting is for losers, budgeting is boring, like money comes back. That was my mindset literally forever until maybe like a year ago. You shouldn't be at a certain age with absolutely $0 to your name, with absolutely zero savings to your name. And I unfortunately was part of that category because I was just spending money left and right. And when I literally sat down and actually thought about it, I was like, oh my God, I made $30,000-$40,000 this year and I had none of it in the bank. Like, where did that $30,000-$40,000 go? If you want to start taking your finances seriously and start increasing your wealth, you first of all have to start by budgeting, because if you don't know where your money's going, then how are you going to save and how are you going to invest? If you don't know what you're making, if you don't know what money you're able to put away each month, then you're just doomed to fail, essentially. So start by making a budget plan. It can be as simple as, like, I have one on my notes. I first of all started by making one in Excel, and I really actually liked Excel because it obviously has like the mathematical formula, so it's able to do calculations for you. I'll insert an example of my Excel sheet if you want some inspiration, and I'll also insert an example of just like my note sheet that I use for keeping track of my finances. So within this budget plan, you obviously want to start off by having your stream or multiple streams of income so you can know how much money you're actually making each month. And after that, you want to set out each one of your expenses, and after that you want to set out some of your, like, I like to call it fun money. So for me, when I was using my Excel sheet, I had things like makeup, I had things like food, I had things like clothing that I was spending my money on, my subscriptions. So this is all like sort of what I like to call fun money. And for me, honestly, I just found that really overwhelming, and I just found it really annoying to have to like go into each cell and add in all this information. I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy, but that was me. So what I ended up doing was I just lumped all those categories together under the name fun money. So instead of me having $200 every month to spend on clothes and $100 every month to spend on makeup and $100 every month for my subscriptions, I now have $400 worth of fun money. Simple as that. And that made it really easy for me to budget. The nice thing about this is once you actually sit down and write all this out or type it all out, whatever you're doing, you're gonna realize, hey, maybe I'm spending too much here, or maybe I can pull a little bit away from this and add it to my savings, or maybe I can try and make more money through this stream of income. So when you have it all in front of you, it's easier to look at the big picture and try and understand ways in which you can start saving more money and becoming more financially responsible than if you were just to have this all in your head. If you're unsure of how much money to have in each category, you can always start off by just tracking your expenses for the month. Just make sure you have some sort of budgeting plan, because if you don't, your money's gonna be walking away left, right, front, and center, and you're gonna have no idea where your money went. And you're gonna have worked a whole entire year and have $0 in your bank account because you spent 40 grand and you don't even remember what you spent it on. That's me throwing shade at myself, by the way. So I'm relatable, and that's what makes this channel fun, is that I'm not just talking about stuff that I haven't been through, all right? Another really quick side tip would be to carry cash. Cash is very like dime a dozen, and nobody ever is carrying around cash. But when you have cash, it's so much easier to realize what you're spending than if you're literally tapping your card or inserting your card. For me, Apple Pay, all the girlies say this, Apple Pay literally feels like free money. Like it's like a game, you tap it, and they know what they're doing. It's psychological tricks. They literally know what they're doing by making it have that nice little appealing sound whenever you tap. and it's like ka-ching, like it makes that little sound so that it can make you feel like you did something good. Make sure that you're carrying cash so that you don't have a little chime in your ear making you feel like you did something good because you spent $50 at Taco Bell. Like, we don't need that. Once you start carrying cash, it's going to be way easier to stick to your budget. This is such an important thing for when you start budgeting, and if you've never budgeted before, at the beginning you're not going to stick to your budget. I remember one time I went shopping with my friend and she was like, how much was that top? And I was literally like, I don't know. I was just spending money out of my account because it was just there. It was like a game. It's just numbers. It's not like physical, you know? I don't have an attachment to it. But when you have hard-earned cash, you cannot go over your budget unless you go and get more cash, which in itself is an inconvenience. So at the beginning of the month, as a pro tip, I would really recommend to take out your fun money out of your checkings account. The thing about cash and me taking out this fun money is when I'm physically looking down and I only have like $50 left or $40 left or $20 left, I'm so much smarter than with my money than if I was just going to tap something, because if I was going to tap something, I know the money's in my account. So I know even if I only have $20 left in my budget, I still have $500 in my account. So it's like I could let it slide. But if I'm out and about and I only have $60 cash and I'm about to impulsively buy something that's worth $200, now all of a sudden I can't buy it because I literally don't have the cash for it. So you see how that almost makes it less likely for you to spend unnecessarily and for you to stick to your budget. Next thing is credit, 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 credit. I used to think credit was a devil because when I was young, I didn't really get taught about credit cards. I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know any of the terminology. I didn't know even when my credit card was supposed to be paid. Just like, I literally did not know anything about credit card other than like, it's free money and you have to pay it back or else you're going to pay more money. Like, that's literally the base. That's all I knew about a credit card. I had no idea about credit utilization. I had no idea about the time periods, like nothing. Credit is so important because not only is it going to help you with your future when you want to like take out a loan or something or get a car or buy a house, but credit cards can literally benefit you, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that. I'm actually in the process of trying to find a new credit card because I feel like the one I have right now just isn't benefiting me enough, and that's another thing. You want to constantly be on the lookout for new deals popping up, and you don't want to be stuck with something that's literally not benefiting you. I'm looking now into getting a different credit card where I could get points on things like groceries because now I buy my own groceries. I'm an adult. Or I could get points to travel because I really want to travel. So credit card is good for not only just building your credit, but it also can help you in a lot of ways, and you can get way more out of a credit card. Like, those points rack up, that cash back racks up, and at the end of the year, you're getting back a lot. Like, I remember one time I paid off maybe like a third of my credit card statement just by using points. Credit cards can be scary, but they're honestly very beneficial. You want to use a credit card like a debit card. I use my credit card literally for everything, and then I use my debit card to pay that off. You want to know why? Because when I'm just simply using my debit card, I'm not getting anything out of that. I'm not getting any points. I'm not getting any cash back. And I'm talking for everything. Like, the other day I was at the gas station and I had a $3 purchase and I said, credit? I said, credit? And the guy literally looked at me like, girl, you don't have $3 to your name, like you're using a credit card? And I was like, yes, I am using a credit card, because all those little things add up. Make sure you remember to pay that off, because at the beginning of my journey, I don't know why I thought like my credit card was like a second debit and I just had all the money in the world, and that, let's not even get into that. Let's not even get into that. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. As a side note there, I recently took a finance class, and some of the tips that I learned are tips that I'm giving away in this video. For one thing, I learned that your credit utilization should be at maximum 35%. So if I have a $3,000 credit card, I should be using maximum 35% of that balance. I never knew that. So I literally would have a $3,000 credit card and I had like $2,999 on there. If I had a $2,000 credit card, I shouldn't be spending more than about $750. That's going to help keep your credit score high, make yourself look reliable to the credit bureau and the banks. Next thing, you need to have a rainy day fund. I never had a rainy day fund because I was like, I'll just put it on my credit card. Like, that'll never happen to me. A rainy day fund is so important because you just never know. Like, even if you don't have a rainy day, you at least have that money in savings and you can put it towards something else. You should have at least a few months of living expenses in a savings account so that you always have that money to fall back on. All hot girls have a rainy day fund. all hot girls have a budget as well. For your rainy day fund, you can start off small. Like I remember at the beginning I used to invest $100 a month. That might not be small to everyone. You could start by doing $20 a month or every week or something like that. And eventually that money is going to build up. So get yourself a rainy day fund. You're welcome. Next is to start investing. Before I started investing, which is actually very recently, investing is something that I always thought was like only for the rich people. You know, they invest their money into properties and the rich get richer, yada yada. Like that is not how it works. Investing your money is so smart, even if you start small, because if you have your money in a savings account, that is doing absolutely nothing for you, especially if it's not even a high interest savings account. I used to have just a regular savings account and my money was just sitting there. What I want you to take away from this video is that there are so many ways to make your money work for you. You shouldn't just have a credit card that isn't doing you any justice. You shouldn't have a savings account that isn't doing you any justice. You shouldn't have a checking account that isn't doing you any justice. All these things can literally work for you and make you richer. But a lot of times we're just not taking advantage of it because we don't know, we don't care, whatever the case is. Recently, I took all the money out of my savings account and I put it into a TFSA, which in Canada is a tax-free savings account. And I used that money in order to invest. So I just started off really easily. I invested in a bunch of ETFs because like I said, I'm a new investor, so I didn't want to go all in and start investing in like Bitcoin and crypto and like oil and the Arabic and Tesla. Like, no girl, let's just start off slow. Even in the short amount of time that I've been investing, my money is growing. And obviously it's not growing from like $100,000 to $10,000 because I'm investing in more reliable, slow growing stocks. But it's better, like, why would you, at the end of the year, why not have at least an extra $100 for doing nothing? Than if you just kept that money in your savings account and you wouldn't have the extra $100. Like, sure, maybe you're not going to get rich overnight. It depends what type of stocks you invest in and how volatile of an investor you are. You are never going to get rich with your 9 to 5. That's just hard facts. Like, you are never ever going to get rich doing a 9 to 5 for 60 years until you retire and then you have $1 million after literally slaving away your back for 60 years just to get a couple bucks to live the rest of your life. Like, no. A 9 to 5 is never going to make you rich, and that's why it's so important to have a side hustle so that you can grow your wealth. Personally, I have a business on the side, so that's my side hustle. I've talked about it many times on this channel, but you know, I guess you could say YouTube is like low-key a side hustle for me, although I'm no longer monetized because I was inactive for too long. But things like that, like there's so many different options. I know so many people who have baking businesses. I can't bake a cake to save my life, so I would be patronizing those people. That's a side hustle in itself. Think about whatever you like to do and make that into a side hustle. You could even ask ChatGPT and be like, hey, this is how old I am, this is what I like to do, these are my hobbies, what do you think would be some good side hustle ideas for me? Boom. There you go. That's an extra 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, even maybe more dollars a month in your bank account. I don't know why I couldn't finish that sentence. That was so strange. Am I okay? You can use that money to further invest. That's the smart thing. You always want to live within your means. Don't start getting an extra $500 to $1,000 a month and now all of a sudden you want to go and get a penthouse. My side hustle money is not my spending money. The money that I make from my business goes A, back into my business, as any entrepreneur would know, and B, savings, investing. I'm not using all that money that I got on my side hustle and going out shopping. Like, that just doesn't even make sense. Now I just worked for no reason, you know what I mean? So make sure that you're being smart as well with your side hustle money. Next, you want to always think about your purchases. I made a very similar point in my last video on people pleasing about how whenever someone asks you to do something, that you should stop and say, let me get back to you. You're gonna do that same thing to yourself. And when your brain is like, oh my god, that bag is so cute, I'm buying it now, you're gonna be like, stop, let me get back to you on that. I want you to give yourself at least 1 hour before you make that purchase. Whether it's something as simple as food or like a pair of leggings. If you don't really need that thing and it's more of a want, literally just stop and give yourself 1 hour. Drive around the parking lot. If I'm in the mall and I see a pair of leggings from Aritzia and I really suddenly have an urge to buy them, I'll put them down. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna shop around for an hour. Maybe I'll go to the food court and get some food. And in an hour, if I still want them that badly, I'm gonna come back. Side note, guys, I am giving you all the tips in these videos. I am really giving away my secrets. So I need us to like this video, please, if any of this is helping you. As a side note, within that quick tip, When you buy something, I want you to keep it in your closet for a week. Yes, you heard me correctly. If you bought a foundation, you bought a pair of leggings, whatever it may be, I want you to keep it in your closet for a week and come back to it, sleep on it for multiple nights. And if you still want to keep it after that week, that means you actually really wanted it / needed it. But if you're like, I could do without it, that's when you know, okay, actually, I'm just going to bring this back. Like, I didn't really care for it. I would have saved myself so much money if I had done this tip, because a lot of times I would buy something and then I would realize I didn't really like it, but I had already taken the tag off, or little things like that. Combine those two steps together. See how you're giving yourself time to evaluate. Time is of the essence, especially for someone like me who is an impulsive spender, who literally gives zero thought, 0 seconds in between seeing something and purchasing it. You need to find a way to break up that time. My very last tip, which this is more of just a reminder, is to never compare yourself. There are people online selling you a full fairy tale story from beginning to end that does not exist. They don't live that life. They don't know anyone who lives that life. They just want you to think they live that life. And they're posting with rented cars. They're posting with fake bags. Girls, never compare yourself, because you never know what somebody's life is like. You never know where people got their money from as well. In today's world, that is so hard to do, because you're always seeing flashy stuff on TikTok. You're always seeing flashy stuff on Instagram. And that's exactly what they want you to see and think, so that you can follow them, so that you can buy their course, so that you can want to be like them, whatever, yada yada. And that's how they're funding their lifestyle even more, a lifestyle that they didn't even have. I don't want to name drop anyone, but just remember, you can only compare yourself to you. You should never be comparing yourself to anyone, because you don't know anybody's story. So at the end of the day, when you're scrolling on TikTok and you're seeing girls living their best life, don't get jealous and don't compare. Use it as inspiration, if anything, but never ever compare, because you're just going to be miserable. You're going to hate your life. That's going to be bringing bad vibes. And it's just going to keep you poor mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of the leaves. So just don't do it to yourself. All right. Love you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned anything new, definitely give me a thumbs up. If you have any other tips for even myself, girl, because I just told you, I'm just like, I'm new to this rich girl era. I was not in my rich girl era for a very long time, so I still have lots to learn. If you have any tips to share with myself or others, definitely leave them down below. If you have any comments, suggestions, anything to say about this video, or if anything helps you, let me know. Unfortunately, this video has come to a close, so that's all for me, but I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.